college basketball's blue heaven. The Tar Heels are #1. Villanova also in the top 25. Get ready for 3 of the nation's most explosive players. Bob Carpenter and Dick Vitale, we welcome you to Chapel Hill. And Dick, some of those great guys from that freshman class of a year ago, now sophomores, and experienced ACC players.
Well, you look at North Carolina, they got the dynamic duo. I think if you rate a duo in America, they rate with the best. We're talking about Rasheed Wallace, a tough inside player. He can run the court, and he can block shots. Jerry Stackhouse, if you need points quickly, he'll put them on the board. He's a tremendous dunker. He's a spectacular player, and he builds momentum with his unbelievable dunks.
Now, because of the back surgery today for Pat Sullivan, the Tar Heels a little bit short down low as far as depth. And Villanova comes to town. They love to shoot the threes, and Kerry Kittles has to get it going early tonight.
Extra, extra, read all about it, get ready. My guy, Kerry Kittles, he can flat out play. America, this kid can do it all. He can pass the basketball, he can shoot the three, he can drive, and he can guard people. To put it in simple terms, he's a PTPer, and he's ready for Chapel Hill.
And a big one on the road for Villanova. 2 of their greatest wins ever have come at the expense of the Tar Heels. Big matchup tonight. Couple of great sophomores. Rasheed Wallace and Jason Lawson know each other from their prep days in Philly.
Yeah, they played in a public school league against each other. Wallace is the best post player in America today. But I think a key will be Lawson has to get the ball in deep, and he has to go right at Wallace to try and get him into foul trouble, because North Carolina is very thin in terms of depth and size.
The Villanova lineup has the big man Lawson, the scorer Kittles, and an outstanding point guard in Jonathan Haynes.
Jonathan Haynes says, put the ball in my hands. I am ready to play. Today at practice, he said, bring on North Carolina. Well, let's see how he handles the press.
The familiar Tar Heel names, and the table setter is Jeff McInnes.
Well, Jeff McInnes has stepped in for Derek Phelps, and he's done an outstanding job running the transition game of North Carolina.
Interesting matchup. Big East and ACC getting together tonight, and McInnes and company ready for the Wildcats here in Chapel Hill.
ESPN's coverage of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge.
A big test for the Wildcats on the road tonight here at North Carolina. They won in this town back in '83 over at Old Carmichael Gym. They also beat Carolina in an NCAA regional in '85 on their way to the national championship. Carolina controls the tip, and McInnes will get the motion offense going.
You mentioned 1983. That was Jordan and Perkins and company. That was a big win for Rollie Massimino in Villanova.
Otto Williams on the left side, and Stackhouse a bit short with it. And there's Jason Lawson crashing the boards. He's averaging 8 rebounds a game.
Villanova likes to shoot the three.
And Stackhouse the steal. That gets the running game. McInnes almost traveled, but he got the basket.
That's what this North Carolina team really does well. They really take the turnover. They blow it up the court, transition. They got superb quickness in their starting 5.
Nova likes to push the ball as well. They'll play a half-court motion offense, and they don't mind some up-tempo. They had one in a game against Seton Hall the other night, where they got their first Big East win.
Great matchup right now is Williams and Kittles.
There's Wilson out on top, skipping it down for Lawson. Good patience, and he draws the foul.
Good high-low entry, bringing the ball up to the high post. Lawson getting the ball in deep. They would like him to become a little bit more active offensively.
Where would they play all these big guys had Rasheed Wallace gone to Villanova?
Well, you know, he came very close today. Steve Lapis, there's the coach, was telling us it was Heartbreak Hotel. He's driving his car. He thinks he has him in April. And then all of a sudden, Rasheed calls and says, Coach, I'm going to UNC. He said he almost went off the road, and this guy became Jubilation City when he got the news that Wallace was going to wear a North Carolina uniform. Michelangelo, Dean Smith.
Lawson, normally a reliable free throw shooter, 76%, gets 1 of 2. Carolina with the 1-point lead a minute in.
You mentioned where they're going to play him. When you have guys like that, if they're going to be in your lineup, that's a great problem to have.
Calabria, and that's a 3 that he rattles home. Dante shooting 38% from that range so far.
He's playing on the wing. They play a 3-guard set now by playing Williams, McInnes, and Calabria together.
And Villanova not a big team. And they felt that because of Sullivan's absence, they would match up better with Carolina than normally. Lawson looking for the bounce pass. That's Ron Wilson in the paint looking to scoop it. There's too many Carolina arms in there. All the way, Donald Williams.
Notice what they do with the transition game. As soon as there's a turnover, the ball's on the floor, they explode. I look for a big year this year out of Donald Williams. He was really, last year, hurt so much, shoulder injury, foot injury. Remember, he was the MVP, 93, and the win of the national title over Michigan.
Most outstanding player in the Final Four, Haynes.
Haynes went 4 for 4 from three-point range in his last game against Seton Hall.
7 out of 7 overall. They're not getting any shots so far.
North Carolina playing tough man-to-man defense.
Haynes kicks it to the free throw line, and Wilson can't drill it. Stackhouse the rebound, fights off a foul. Jonathan Haynes with his first.
Very important for Villanova somehow to get Kerry Kittles involved offensively quickly. Third year for Steve Lapis, started out, won 8 games. Last year came on strong, won the NIT title. There's a look at Kerry Kittles from out of Louisiana.
And Pierce Landry has checked in for Carolina.
He's been a real surprise. Moorhead scholar, great student academically, a walk-on player.
I was just going to say, Dick, Carolina not used to having walk-ons as the first people off the bench.
Yeah, but he's become a solid player at the Division I level. Good role player.
Stackhouse penetration. Landry. Calabria down to the baseline where Stackhouse is so dangerous. And he goes straight to the hole and draws the foul.
Bob, you're right. This guy can get to the free throw line really in big numbers because he's so explosive on that baseline. He's a ballerina. Look at the explosion. Look at the great hop. He's got the great legs, the great balance. I mean, that is just tremendous agility.
And you just saw why he gets to the free throw line so often.
Hangs in the air, was brilliant last year in the ACC tournament. When they won the tournament, he was the MVP.
He shot 205 free throws last year.
You know, it's amazing. A lot of people say, what a disappointment. They had a horrible year last year. They won 28 games. They won the ACC tournament. They're also #1 in the nation in the polls at the end of the regular season. But that's the mentality now with certain programs. Unless you win it all, you're a failure.
Hey, Dick, how about this for a run? Last year broke a streak of 14 years that Carolina had gone to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Boston College beat him in that second round. Phelps got hurt. Great win by BC shooting the 3.
Kittles on the way. Ebers along with it. Eric's one of their outstanding outside shooters, came in at 48% from beyond the arc.
That's Villanova's strength shooting the 3.
McGinnis up over the top to Wallace, and Lawson may have gotten a piece of it. It could have been Ron Wilson, who's a good shot blocker as well.
Yeah, Wilson and Lawson give him a real shot blocking duo inside. But this guy's got to try to score a little bit.
Fights off the double team. Can't bounce it home. And Rashid takes control underneath.
Good move, though, by taking the ball and being active inside. I really believe early in the game they're going to go right at Wallace and try to get some fouls out.
Avery up for Stackhouse. He loves that baseline.
So strong. He's physically so strong. Went to Oak Hill Academy. Played with Jeff McGinnis at Oak Hill.
4 points early for the sophomore out of Kinston, North Carolina.
Same school of Purdue's Charles Shackelford, who went on to North Carolina State fame.
Here's
Red Maxwell.
Visiting team that needs a field goal badly. Kittles the miss, and then Ebers couldn't tip it home. Here's Stackhouse. Well short with it. In fact, it was more of a pass to Calabria.
Calabria does a good job as a rebounder at his size. 6'4", playing the wing. They'll really miss Pat Sullivan when you get into the season. Anytime you lose a 6'8" player when you only have about 7 players, that really hurts.
And the steal for Jonathan Haynes. 3-on-2 with a couple
nice
of trailers.
Pass.
Ebers finishes.
Great pass by Haynes. Excellent look. Jonathan Haynes with an excellent pass.
7 assists per game he's averaging, coming off that 21 against Seton Hall in the perfect shooting night. And there's Jeff McGinnis getting it started for Carolina. 4.5 minutes in.
They're really going down at Stackhouse, getting the ball quickly down on the boxes inside. He has really worked on improving his range as a shooter.
That'll be 2 on Ron Wilson. And Villanova's not the deepest team in the world either. And they're down early by 8.
Bob, North Carolina with that 8-point lead. We're going to watch a little play down in the post right now. Lawson trying to defend against his buddy Rashid right here. There he is catching the ball in deep. Now here's Lawson reacting to him. See right here, hold it. He watch right in his. Now look at Lawson. He's a left-handed player, so he's right up there to get a deflection. We're going to watch now. There's the little jumper, and there's the left hand, and he gets a deflection on his buddy. They played in the playgrounds in Philadelphia. In fact, when they were both being recruited, they would come over to Villanova, watch all their games. They thought at Villanova, they really thought they would have Mr. Wallace. And you talk about a coach who was broken-hearted. He said it was like a morgue coming to the office, Steve Lapis.
Up over the top. A little too tall for Wallace. Kittle's a touch on it. It's Evers on the wing for Williams, and he will try to return it, but he traveled first. Alvin Williams checking in at the timeout for Villanova.
He's really like a starter. He had a brilliant game against Seton Hall, had 20 points. His dad works in baseball. As we look, 1 for 6 for Villanova. They're too good a shooting team, and Carolina 4 for 7.
11-3 the lead, 5 minutes in. McGinnis dribbles into some space, a little short with it. Lawson had control for a moment.
Dean trying to get some minutes, now playing Zwicker on the floor.
Good backdoor defense by Eric Evers. This is a guy who can really shoot. Look for him to have that one hot stretch tonight.
Yeah, he's a really excellent shooter. He's a standstill jump shooter. Man-to-man defense by Villanova. Cats have really been on a roll.
Williams pass behind Wallace, and the save in for Haynes. He'll give it to Kittle's right wing. Carey's been shut down so far. Entry pass, Lawson over Zwicker.
I think that's really great that they're looking to Lawson and trying to get him involved. He's got to become a real key ingredient in their offensive scheme as well as their defense. When I say on a roll, they were 6-9 at one time last year. Since that point, they've won 18 of their last 22 games.
Donald Williams missing off to the right with the 3. Straight ahead it goes. And the ball was out of bounds, as that's where Jonathan Haynes was standing when he received the pass.
Dean Smith's done an excellent job, though, with his defensive game plan and keeping the ball away from Steve Lapis' favorite player right now, Kerry Kittles. Michelangelo loves the gym, a tremendous teacher. He said, Dick, he told me yesterday, he said on the phone, he said, I have 7 players that really were recruited by Division I schools and offered scholarships. And I simply said to myself, well, there's a lot of schools that will give up 14 scholarship players for your 7.
That's right. Calabria to the baseline. Working around the perimeter. Nicely done. Donald Williams, great patience until he got the shot he was looking for.
And great legs. He used his legs really well into that 15-foot little jump shot. Born in North Carolina, was a prolific scorer on a high school level. Donald Williams.
There's the steal. Calabria by Evers, the foul and the basket.
That's a super play by Dante Calabria. His dad, Chad's got to be mighty happy. His dad played at Iowa from out of Black Hawk, Pennsylvania. He cut off. Watch right here when we see the turnover. He plays the passing lane beautifully. Now watch this, young people. He knifes the defensive player right off as he steps and goes right to the goal. Tremendous move. He doesn't go out wide. He gets that good angle and that good conversion. They are doing a super job in taking the turnover and converting it. Their conversion ratio is tremendous.
6 for Calabria early. 4 for Williams. Stackhouse with 4. 5 Villanova turnovers.
There's a double up on Kittles to get the ball out of his hands. He's got to get involved offensively. He's drifting.
Lawson blocked by Stackhouse, and Zwicker picked it up.
It's been all North Carolina defensively. They have played brilliantly on a defensive end.
Little give and go. Williams and Calabria, and the rebound Alvin Williams of Nova. They're going to try to run a little bit, but where is the shot of Kittles? Nowhere to be found so far.
Hasn't taken a shot yet, but right up in his face.
Haynes can't knock down the 3. Lawson almost reaching over Zwicker.
That's a big plus if they can get some positive minutes out of guys like Serge Zwicker, Landry, and Ed Geth.
Williams penetrating, pulling up, and Zwicker unable to get it. Outlet for Haynes.
They got to take advantage right now with Wallace on that sideline.
That was Williams blocking from behind. He had no idea where the ball was, and he was standing on the baseline when it came down and hit him in the shoulder. But one thing that Steve Lapis was concerned about, tempo on the road. Carolina is picking up the tempo at the moment.
They're doing it with their defense, really playing well with a quick defensive unit on the floor. They play that small lineup. What a career. You think of the numbers this man has posted, unbelievable. National titles we know about in New Orleans, both of them. Won that title in '93, also in 1982, when a young freshman by the name of Michael made that dramatic shot to beat Georgetown and the Hoyas.
70 wins behind Adolph Rupp. 876 to 806.
I think that record is in jeopardy.
Seriously.
Villanova's going to rotate into a zone. They're coming out of the man-to-man, go to a 2-3 zone. North Carolina's got some pretty good shooters on the wings that can hurt that zone. Calabria being one, Williams another.
We'll see if that can help stop Stackhouse on the baseline as well. He'll go outside and shoot the three. Little short with it. Wallace tried to slam the follow, and it's picked up in the air by Ron Wilson.
He would have brought the house down. Wilson, defensive player, they want him to rebound. They can't wait also to get Cornegay from out of North Carolina State. He becomes eligible the latter part of December.
Yeah, he'll give him a big body, 6'9", who can leap inside.
Yeah, strong physical presence. Played at North Carolina State and transferred. Had some academic problems.
From the right corner, the three swishes for Haynes, his first basket.
Haynes, I really like him. He's a leader. They call him the general. They call, no, he's not General Robert Montgomery Knight, but he's their leader. He's their talker. He's their communicator.
Just beyond the 8-minute mark now. It's 16-8 Carolina.
Match it up there 2-3. I think we're going to see a spurt by Villanova. I think Kittles is too good to have been drifting as he has so far in this game. Has not been really involved offensively.
Calabria on the baseline for Stackhouse. He was fouled on the first attempt.
Stackhouse going to put a lot of points on the board up this year. Eric Montross not here, playing now for the Celtics. Had a big game last night with Boston. They say he's getting better and better in that post position down in Boston, getting a lot of minutes.
Jason Lawson on the foul, his first, and Stackhouse to the line. Most valuable player of the Tournament of Champions last week. He had 39 points and 15 boards in 2 games against South Carolina and a very good Cincinnati team.
And really, it was a very good Cincinnati team that they beat.
Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Wendy's coming your way on ESPN Saturday at 7:30 from the Downtown Athletic Club in New York. A 60-minute special surrounding that award. And it's 17-8 Carolina with timeout, 11:39 to go. First half. And Steve Lappa's team down big early. Really hasn't strayed far from home so far. A couple of wins here, a couple of wins in Charlotte. Stackhouse having a quick start in this one tonight.
Yeah, he's also working on defensive end. We're going to take a look at Jerry Stackhouse now as we're going to watch a double team right here. Freeze it right here. Look at Stackhouse getting up with that extension. I mean, he's way up on top. And we're going to watch right now. They have a double team. Stackhouse goes up there to get a piece of the ball on 6'11", Jason Lawson. They're going to Lawson a little bit on the inside. That's one area Stackhouse has had to work on, his defensive ability.
One of the big stories so far, though, Kittles without a shot. Nova, thus, 3 for 11 in the first 8.5 minutes.
Not getting a good look at that three-point shot. We know they live by that shot. They really love shooting the three.
And they'll let him catch the ball out there all night long. Williams pawing away at that three-point line, and then he missed it. Calabria will outlet straight ahead for Stackhouse.
Villanova likes to play horse. They like to get to the three-point line and fire the trifecta.
I don't know if you can spell it from as far out as Carey's been so far, though. Baseline right. Calabria gets a man off the floor. Kisses it home, and Dante has 8 early.
Dante playing with so much confidence. He knows the minutes are there now. He knows that he's not going to that sideline. He has now become a 30-minute player.
Carolina led early, 11-1. This is their biggest lead, 19-8.
Oh, could have had a foul on Wallace right there. They missed it.
Lawson rejected by Stackhouse.
Stackhouse says, okay, Rasheed, I'll take him for you.
Calabria switching it. McInnes. Quick touch, good ball movement.
Carolina likes to utilize that skip pass, throwing the ball right over the top of the defense. Look at Lawson right here now, trying to get position. He holds off, he gets it. But right now, look at the recovery by Wallace, but it's the defensive play by Stackhouse, those great legs.
Lawson appeared to have a straight shot at the hoop on the left side, and he worked his way right in between the two Tar Heels.
And he couldn't believe it that it was Stackhouse blocking that shot. He thought maybe it would be his buddy Rasheed. High post screen, little screen and roll.
Stackhouse in the wing for Calabria, a little long with the three, and the rebound carry Kittles.
Kittles not playing aggressively. Seems to me right now just playing very passive. He's got to become a little bit more active offensively.
Working off a pick, Haynes way off.
Really struggling right now. They were blown out in the Great Alaska Shootout by Minnesota. Didn't shoot well. Also, Jonathan Haynes, he's been out. He was out 3 weeks with a stress fracture in his foot, and he doesn't even practice really a whole lot with the club. They're just trying now to get him ready to play a lot of minutes.
Lost to the Gophers 85-64, then came back to get a nail-biter over Louisville 82-81.
Haynes made 3 free throws in the last 19 seconds.
stay with whom? Carolina, it appears. 17 on the shot clock. 9:48 first half. 19-8 Tar Heels.
Crowd really quiet, too. The crowd hasn't really exploded. They're waiting for a thunderous dunk from Mr. Wallace. Lawson's done his job. He's neutralized Wallace on the interior, but they're not getting any help offensively from his buddies.
Carolina with 4 turnovers now. Wilson will take a breather. And that sniper, Eric Ebers, is back in. He's got a field goal early. 10 turnovers between the two clubs, and that's not that bad. 10.5 minutes in.
Playing a small lineup now. Villanova as well. They match up with that small lineup. They go with Alvin Williams. Playing the 3-guard set now.
Nova only 1 of 5 from 3-point range so far. Kittle swings it on the wing for Ebers. He switches it for Haynes. Way long. That's 2 in a row that haven't even drawn iron.
Yeah, he's really struggling shooting the ball on the perimeter. He's 4 for 4.
Shot clock at 3. Lawson rejected. And the shot clock expires.
Wallace says, get it out of here. This is rejection city, baby. I'm the eraser. I own the lane. I know you're my buddy from out of the city of brotherly love. Simon Grant's high school superstar. They were #1 in the nation. There goes Wallace. He rotates over. Great timing on Lawson.
Williams right side. 3 won't go for him. Lawson leaves it for Ebers. Kittles
to shoot the ball. He's got to really start to think offense. Look how passive he is, Bob. He's not really active at all without the ball. Number 30.
Bottom right of your screen.
Oh, there he is now.
Trying to make a cut. And he gets loose to spin one, but it won't fall for him. But he sure looked like he worked hard without the ball that time. McInnes with the pull-up. Teammates skying all over the place, and he got it back.
He's a tough player in that little middle-range jump shot. He's very strong physically. I think he's going to be an outstanding point guard at North Carolina. Once he learns how to play defense off the ball. He plays defense on the basketball really well, but he gets himself bumped on screens a little bit away from the basketball.
Williams, quick move to the left wing, and then the high shot over Wallace.
Nice little isolation. Alvin Williams gets the ball, a little one-on-one set. Good baseline drive.
Stackhouse, they're going to sack down and double team and trap him on the baseline. Haynes thus gets the steal and the reverse at the other end.
Jonathan Haynes with a little reverse, a little score. Started his career at Temple, played 1 exhibition game and then decided to transfer.
Calabria from Stackhouse. And he was fouled as he tried to get control. That was a nice little baseline trap a moment ago by Nova that led to the easy basket.
Yeah, they did a great job with the defense. They got the ball on a baseline deep, made the trap, got the conversion, and scored.
Zwicker and Landry headed back in for UNC.
We take a look at Kerry Kittles. He's really been struggling offensively. Here he is on the floor. He's going to run a little fake move and then cut through the defense for his only opportunity so far tonight offensively, and he doesn't convert. Now watch him. He'll cut right through the defense, comes off the screen. The ball is loose. He picks it up, and now he's going to try a little reverse inside, and he comes up empty. He is the start to get some screens and get really free. As we look right here, the poor shooting, 5 for 19, Villanova.
Carolina not exactly lighting it up either at 40%. Kittles averaging 21 points and 6 boards a game.
Minnesota, who beat them and won that tournament, certainly one of the surprise teams in America. One of the disappointing teams in America has to be Virginia out of the ACC. Rated very high, lose to Vanderbilt, defeat at home by Ohio U.
There's Calabria looking backdoor for Stackhouse. And a good job by Lawson to snuff that one out.
Villanova's done an excellent job defensively. Offensively, they haven't been able to be very productive.
And they can't hit the threes on any regular basis so far.
And they're a 40% shooting team from 3-point range.
Lawson against Stackhouse. Then 2 more sacked down on him. He's drawn a lot of company every time he gets the ball down that left side.
You know, Villanova got really hot at the end of the year. There was the cry on the campus, we're number 65, we're number 65, as they won the NIT championship. This year, their dreams are a little bit higher. They're thinking NCAA tournament. They're thinking of making some noise, especially when they get Cornegay. They had a busload of students come in, drive here 8 hours. They're going to get back in the bus today, drive back to the campus, and they told me, they promised, they're going to be in class tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
That's really great.
Nova, by the way, the 15th program in the nation to win both the NCAA tournament and the NIT. Of course, NCAA champs in '85.
And Willie Massimino pitched that Don Larson perfect game against a great Georgetown team led by Mr. Patrick Ewing.
Calabria on top. McGinnis way out there. A little long with it. Haynes the rebound, and he'll run.
Hey, somebody
He's been
get
the most
Kittles.
active Wildcat so far.
Come on, Kerry, get active.
Active, and he runs into a two-man wall.
They really have him well covered.
They can't hit. Lawson the rebound. Zwicker was moving into it.
Lawson almost went to Georgia Tech. He told me today that was one of his choices along with Virginia.
Zwicker had great position on that play, but he started moving his feet right into Lawson. And we'll see some subs. Wallace is back in. Donald Williams returns for North Carolina.
You know, the year they won the national title, Villanova, they had to beat in '85. In the Final Eight, they had to beat North Carolina with Kenny Smith and company. 3-point field goal attempts, only 13%. 1 for 8. Wow.
We thought that was a key. So did they. Kittles,
Yes,
finally.
yes, from Louisiana. Kerry Kittles and his mom and dad stand. They're up. They're sitting here tonight.
That makes it a 6-point game. And that brings back into focus the fact Carolina's not exactly shooting that well right now.
That's a momentum builder right there. Kerry Kittles. It should be a confidence builder.
Here he comes. He
Nice
kicks it
look.
for Lawson, and somebody with a reach-in foul to take it away. And they might call it a shooting foul.
Shows his versatility right there with that little dump off to Lawson.
Here's Landry reaching in.
Talked to a lot of people today, and all the adjectives were flowing to describe Kerry Kittles. There's that quickness, the little dump down to Lawson. You could see that he has talent. We watched him today at the shoot-around, and you could just see that he has the great time, big-time ability.
When Jason Lawson is on the floor, he's been outstanding. A lot of problems with foul trouble last year. Dick, they only had to take him out of the game last year one time when he was tired. All the other times because he was in foul trouble.
Well, that's really a problem for a lot of young kids coming out of high school, especially big players. They have a tendency to want to block every shot. You know, even Wallace would have had problems, but the bottom line, he had the luxury of playing in a situation with an Eric Montross, so his minutes were limited.
6 minutes to go in the half. Back to a 4-point game, and Kittles forces the steal. Alvin Williams heads up court.
Talked about it a little bit earlier that we thought that Villanova would make a little spur to get back. They're too experienced as a basketball team.
Haynes looking for Lawson, and he was held by Zwicker.
You don't win 18 of your last 22 basketball games against the competition they played against and not be a good basketball team. And certainly talking to Dean Smith yesterday, he had great respect for this Villanova team coming here.
Dante Calabria returns. Hot early he was. Stackhouse on fire early. The other man to re-enter the game. Zwicker has a seat.
I think size and depth will be a problem for North Carolina. Ultimately, when you look throughout the season to try and maintain that top ranking.
Look at Haynes slashing his way in and drawing the foul.
All these guys from Philadelphia. Haynes from Philadelphia. Alvin Williams from Philadelphia. Lawson from Philadelphia. There goes Haynes. Splits the defense. Takes it up strong. He has a lot of confidence. You watch him in practice, you can just feel he just generates so much enthusiasm putting the uniform on.
Nova takes off on a 9-0 run. Wallace gets his second foul and takes a seat with 5:35 to go. He has not scored yet.
And that is really big. They've done a great job neutralizing Wallace, and it's been the presence of Lawson on the interior that has really helped to be able to neutralize Wallace on the baseline.
Wallace sitting on the bench with no points. 2 fouls, 3 rebounds. And it's a 3-point game.
That 2-3 matchup has been very effective when they came out of the man-to-man. They've really matched up well out of the 2-3 to recognize the guys that can shoot.
Williams taking charge. The miss, but Stackhouse there.
There it is again. The lost art. No one putting a body on the great offensive rebounders. We saw it last night in the Indiana-Kentucky game in the first half. Cricket and Pope getting second and third attempts.
Kittles working on Landry. And the short one rebounded by Calabria. A 360. They're 3-on-3. He'll bank it. Stackhouse again. But reaching in is Alvin Williams to start the Nova break. Haynes back to Williams.
That's a great two-man play right there. Haynes and Williams bring the ball to the sideline. One of the oldest plays in basketball. You give it up and you cut without the basketball.
23-20. 4:35 before halftime.
North Carolina now playing Zwicker and Landry on the floor.
Williams a little tentative with the shot. Didn't quite stroke it, did he?
You can feel the confidence building up in the Villanova kids.
Good ball movement now.
Yeah, good reversal, swinging the ball side to side.
Roscoe Harris along with the 3. Serge Zwicker, the rebound.
Harris, a designated three-point shooter.
Nearly a steal for Haynes. Then Harris. It's Landry draining the 3.
He can shoot the basketball. Landry is an outstanding shooter. Played 2 years on the JV team. That's a big lift.
And there's the ex-walk-on rescuing his team for the moment.
Hey, he's a 3.8 student, too. He's got his priorities in order. And here comes the Carolina faithful. The blue and white. They rise out of their seats and they explode.
Baseline. Lawson explodes.
Lawson says, sit down, baby. Sit down. And Lapis says, I like my big guy. Jason, take it home, big fella.
That's 7 for him.
He's really active on the inside here tonight. He's all pumped up. I told you the pregame warm-up. I said, look at these guys. They're so emotional.
Now Carolina getting efficient. Calabria with 11 as they hit 2 consecutive threes.
His dad was a pretty good player. Went to Iowa. Iowa certainly has been a surprise. They blew out Ohio U by 25.
Carolina by 7. Kittles and Landry on the wing.
I'd go to Lawson inside against Zwicker.
There you go. All right, Coach, how'd they fire you if you know stuff like that?
Hey, you get a little bit lucky sitting in a booth. I think that's a great matchup right there for Villanova.
Up over the top, Landry for Stackhouse. 3 cats pawing at him. And the foul appears to be on Kerry Kittles. It would be his first.
He's a man. He's an absolute man offensively, Jerry Stackhouse. Very complete as an offensive player.
McInnes, after his breather, is back in. And for the first time tonight, we see sophomore big man Ed Geth, who redshirted for Carolina last year.
He's got to give some rebounding. You know, when Steve Lapis got the job, Kerry Kittles was thinking seriously of going to Tulane. In fact, he wasn't happy with the coaching change. He was going to go to Tulane, but because of the rule that says if he went to Tulane, he'd have to definitely sit out a year. I say that rule is a joke. Penalizes young people. Kerry Kittles signed early under Rolly Massimino. Coaching change, he should be allowed to be re-recruited again without any penalty. The coach goes off, gets the mega contract. Why should a kid be penalized? I'd love to see them change that rule and allow a youngster, if he's in high school and he signs early and the coach moves on, he should have the opportunity to move on as well.
After the miss by Stackhouse, Nova will have it. 2:53 before halftime, and the Cats have battled back, down by 6.
Jonathan Haynes does a solid job at the point guard slot, number 21. They recognize an M&M or a mismatch inside, a no contest, an NC. Lawson getting in deep against Zwicker. Zwicker cannot handle him in that deep. Lawson takes it up strong and shows why he was America's guest and almost went to Georgia Tech with Bobby Crimmins. Broke his heart when he said, I will stay home in Philadelphia. 9 points, 4 rebounds.
And by the way, 2 for 2 after Wallace went out with that second foul.
Well, you got to take advantage right now with Wallace sitting on the sideline. You got to attack on the inside. See, right now I'd go at Ed Geth. I'd let him have to play Lawson.
Get the big body in there, not very quick. There's Lawson. Put it on the floor one time. Can't get the soft touch to fall. And then Kittles on the way up draws the foul.
I think Kerry Kittles is very unselfish. In fact, too unselfish.
West Virginia at Pitt, 3 o'clock. That's the backyard brawl in the East on ESPN Saturday coverage. That's at 3 o'clock. And then Memphis and Georgetown a little later on this evening. Hoyas ranked number 18. And that's from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. 2
of the best freshmen in America in that game. Allen Iverson, the little guard, certainly living up to his recognition. An instant hit was brilliant against Providence. And also Lorenzen Wright. John Saunders going back home to Canada for that game.
Slap shot in the Gardens.
Yeah, he'll have a blast there. As Rashid sitting on the sideline.
No points, 3 boards, 2 fouls. 2:32 to go. First half. Williams will work.
Nice
He'll kick
pass.
it. Forget.
Nice pass. Very unselfish. Typical North Carolina basketball. Make the one extra pass to the open man.
6-point game. But the bottom line here is Nova got over the early slump, and they've made a good game of it the last 7 or 8 minutes.
Came out, they were very emotional, but I think maybe even too emotional.
Kittle's way out there, and he rattled it home, and that is 8 suddenly for the man who's averaging 21.
That's a big-time shot right there. I just don't think he shoots the ball enough. I loved him today watching him in practice. So quick. Right now he's taking a challenge and trying to check Stackhouse.
Nice look by Stackhouse to Geth. He wasn't ready, and Villanova will have it back.
Kerry Kittles plays on both sides of the floor. And the thing I love about Kerry, his players absolutely love playing with him. I was asking all the guys. They had nothing but the greatest praise. So many times you'll talk to players that play with a star player, and, you know, they really, really don't care that much because they think the guy might be a little one-dimensional. This kid plays on both sides of the floor.
Suddenly, Carolina with 10 turnovers. Ebers on the wing. Williams. Nothing doing on that shot for Alvin Williams, right side.
Stackhouse so strong when he rebounds. Gives it up. Would like to get it back. He's their #1 option right now on the baseline. Williams on the perimeter.
McGinnis, a little bit out of control. Rebounded tough in there by Eric Ebers.
Ebers has not been able to get the good look at the basket to stroke his 3.
Now the pace will slow a bit. 3-point game with a minute to go. And really, Steve Lapis has to like the position his team's in right now.
Especially the way they started. He's got to like the idea Wallace has got 2 fouls. He's got to like the idea North Carolina's not very deep. And he's also going to like the idea that Kerry Kittle started out slowly.
Shot clock under 10. Down they go. Lawson seals his man off, but he traveled before going up.
Yeah, he lifted his pivot foot, but he's active, and I think that's big. Look at Lapis. He's active. Hey, who said Rick Pitino's the only guy on the sideline moving? Look, what is he doing with that jacket? What's he doing?
Reports have him getting a lot more dapper since he won the NIT last year.
Well, if he ever wins the NCAA, watch out.
Carl Ravitch standing by with our Delta Faucet halftime report. Matchups galore, including the big fella from Maryland tonight. And around the rim with our commentators around the nation.
They got Massachusetts and Maryland on Saturday. What a matchup right there. Lou Rowe, Joe Smith.
Well, McGinnis, a little shuffle of the feet. The entire Villanova bench made the call for Tim Higgins, the official over there, who's working with Frank Scagliotta and Rick Hartzell tonight. This is an officiating crew that works games in both the Big East and the ACC.
Well, Rick Hartzell is an athletic director at Bucknell. They beat Colgate. You know, mentioned Colgate and Donald Foyle. Donald Foyle's averaging 15 points a game, 13 rebounds a game. But unfortunately, Colgate is 0-5.
Shot clock is off. Nova with the final possession and a chance to go into the locker room tied, or maybe one down.
Especially the way they shoot the 3.
Off the double team, they couldn't get it to Kittles. And it was Stackhouse picking it up, and now the Tar Heels have about 8 seconds. Stackhouse will do it quickly.
Doesn't waste any time. He can put points on a board so quick.
And Kittles off balance. It'll be a 5-point Tar Heel halftime lead. Wallace, not much of a factor. He did block some shots, but he has not scored. And we'll see plenty of him because he has 2 fouls. Tar Heels by 5. And Carl Ravitch, we definitely feel we haven't seen the best from either of these teams yet tonight.
Well, Kerry Kittle started, and Jason Lawson playing Rasheed tough. Fellas?
That's right, Carl. About an hour ago, Dick, we talked about the matchup between the two, and early it was Wallace with some rejections, but Lawson got a lot better after Rasheed got the 2 fouls.
Yeah, Jason was very effective. There's the great entry from Williams into Lawson in deep. Takes it up strong. He knows Wallace is on the sideline, and he attacks Swicker on the inside. Now here they are playing against Wallace, trying to work on the baseline. There's a little switch. Kittle's on him right now as they play their 2-3 matchup. Everywhere he goes, they're aware, they're alerted. And look at the numbers. Right here, 9 points, 4 rebounds. Lawson wins the battle. Bragging rights. Mr. Wallace, no points, 3 rebounds, 2 fouls. He did sit a lot of minutes, but he also, remember this, he had 2 fouls. Watch Jerry right now, Stackhouse, as we bring the ball in here. Freeze it. Now watch Mr. Stackhouse work to get great offensive rebounding position on the penetration, as we see the penetration by Williams. Right there on the inside. Freeze it. Look at 42. I mean, it's all his, baby. He says, get me the rock, I convert, and that's why I'm in double figures. He did a great job in the first half along with Dante Calabria.
Villanova 10 of 30 from the field, and if you go all the way down to the bottom line, turnovers piled up on both clubs late in the first half. Threes, not bad after the way they started. And by the way, Stackhouse could be headed for a very interesting triple-double, Dick. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 turnovers already.
Yeah,
does that count?
He doesn't want to hear about those turnovers, baby. Hide that, Stack. Get that away. I think we're going to have a great second half here. I really think this is going to be one of those special games. Down the stretch. Oh, not the way you want to start.
Now with the big guy putting on the floor and trying to stop.
Look at Steve Lapis. He's got the slick hair now. He's going to Pat Riley look. That's after winning the NIT. If he wins the NCAA, watch out, America. Get out the Armanis.
And of course, the 94 East Region Coach of the Year going along with all that. There's Wallace. Got in too deep to shoot.
Yeah, got himself a bad angle at the goal.
Williams entry pass. Stackhouse lost it. It bounces around, and Donald Williams quickly.
Hello, little Jam City. Slam, jam, bam. Rashid, I don't care what his numbers are. He's the best inside player in America in the low post. Quick, the block shots, run the court.
And a 50-50 ball won by his teammates to set up the first points of the night. Scrambled on the floor, and McInnes forces the turnover.
First 4 minutes after halftime, so big to Villanova. Rasheed Wallace now, you're going to see him get positioned inside. Donald says, come on, Rasheed, get your first deuce against all your buddies from the city of brotherly love.
And Carolina by 7, a minute into the second half.
Bob, the first 4 minutes, when you're a team who's an underdog, playing on the road, you're down by 5, now it's 7. This becomes a danger time. You got to be able to get a little spurt here.
Won't go for McInnes, and nobody boxes him out.
It's up to 9.
That's a half dozen for Jeff. He had no assists, a couple of turnovers in the first half. So a couple of guys who didn't have good first halves score early for Carolina, coming right out of that locker room.
I can't believe why guys don't block out. I just can't believe that.
Nice penetration, baseline left, and Eric Ebers with his second basket of the night. But he's 0 for 2 from outside, and that's really where his damage can be done.
Yeah, his strength is to shoot the stationary jump shot. That was a good inside move by Ebers.
Williams for Calabria. Fights off a double team, draws the shooting foul.
Timmy Higgins with the call. Outstanding official along with Frank Scagliotta. Hartzell got an outstanding crew here from Fred Varricat country.
Looks like number 2 on Jason Lawson. And Alvin Williams, who had a pretty good first half, returns. That's Ron Wilson sitting down. Williams came off the bench with 4 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists for Steve Lapis in the first 20 minutes.
Well, Williams is really like a starter. He comes off the bench, but he's a valuable player. He's probably going to be one of the premier 6 men in the East in terms of basketball. You look at that Big East right now. Certainly Villanova's right there in the mix with everybody else. I mean, they can play with all the clubs up on top. Syracuse, certainly Connecticut. Last year, they beat that Connecticut team.
Nova picked 4th in the preseason poll. By the way, Dante Calabria, a season high already.
Well,
13.
Carolina trying to rotate out and disguise that little man-to-man and go to a trap.
Kittle's got a little room to work. Couldn't hit the jumper. 4 on 1. They got to score here.
Hello, you better believe it. Hello, good night. Hey, Carl, you like that one, baby? That's up and away. He gets a TO, baby, down at Villanova.
First it was Wallace, then it was McInnes, and then it was Stackhouse. And Steve Lapis has to put a stop to it. Number 1 team in the country takes charge and leads by 11. Nova in trouble now, early second half on the road. And one of the things they've liked about Kerry Kittles, his consistency over the years, but the fact that he can step up in big games against big opponents. And Dick, now is that time.
Played at St. Augustine down there in Louisiana, played with Pointer Williams.
Kittles had 8 points in the first half, only took 5 shots. And in his collegiate career, last year at least, when he really became a regular, the lowest he ever scored in the game was 14. Great consistency. We'll see if they look for him out of the timeout. Williams baseline right. Ebers finds a shot, so he's hit 2 in a row.
Ebers got that nice little rotation, excellent touch. Kittles played with Pointer Williams, who went on to Tulane, now transferred to playing over at McNeese State. Played in high school together. Villanova now goes to their 2-3 matchup. We talked about the first 4 minutes. So big if you're the underdog. You got to build some momentum. Instead, the momentum is gone to North Carolina.
Donald Williams so quick. Wallace backdoor, can't bump it home. And Jason Lawson cleared the glass.
Kerry's got to become a little bit more active and create his own shot. Try to develop a little bit more with the dribble if he's not getting free. Right now, trying to run a little screen for him. Getting a little ball reversal, swinging the basketball.
Ebers, left wing, Williams.
Williams trying to jam it inside, trying to get that good angle to get that entry. Did he get that on Wallace?
Careful, Rashid. I mean, you've got Sullivan out with back surgery. You don't need to break your hand on the support.
he gets a little frustrated at times. That's one area of his game he's got to really work on. He's got to mature as an individual, as a player, and he can't get himself frustrated and be concerned with calls. Just got to play basketball, play flat out hoops inside.
They go right at him, then kick it back out. Ebers, and the inside-outside just won't fall down for him.
Ebers was right on the money right there. Just came, spun out. They talked about those rims being a little hard today.
Well, when Nova came here to shoot today, he thought the rims were tight, and Carolina left a little ladder sitting out by the court to indicate that maybe somebody had been up there.
Well, Steve Lapis said, they must know we're a three-point shooting team. I think they're making those rims a little tighter. I said, wait a minute, they got to shoot at the hoop, too.
Williams kicks it in the corner. McGinnis can't hit the three. And the ball saved in the baseline by Alvin Williams. He's really had a good game tonight.
He's really a positive contributor off that bench. Getting the good spacing. Oh, they missed Wallace. They missed the big guy inside. Oh, Kittle says, I don't have to get it to him. Hanging in the air. Little twisting drive. Kerry Kittles.
Well, Dick, on their last possession, when the ball went down to Lawson, I thought he might turn around and go right at Rasheed Wallace. Instead, he kicked it outside.
Yeah, I thought he would have taken it right at him as well, because he had to be very careful. Donald Williams stroking the jumper, not forcing any shots.
His third field goal of the night. Donald really not that explosive so far, but by March, don't forget about him.
Well, they got a solid backcourt. When you talk some of the great backcourts in college basketball, you better include McGinnis and Williams and certainly Calabria. I like Connecticut's backcourt, and Arkansas has got a great one as well.
Haynes dribbling around the perimeter, and a grabbing foul. Jeff McGinnis is first.
You know, you talk about great backcourts. Watched Kansas a little bit last night. Jock Vaughn and Jared Haas. I love Haas. You talk about a competitor in Vaughn, that Kansas. And I'll tell you something else. I talked on the phone to Dean Smith, and you could feel the pride and the love he has for the success that Roy Williams is having, his former student here at North Carolina.
And there's Lawson putting home the miss after Ebers couldn't roll it home. And it's back to 7. It was a 5-point game at the half. Carolina got out by 11. Villanova called the timeout, and they've recovered now 5 minutes into the second half.
Came out of the man-to-man, went to the 2-3. They'd like to play more man-to-man. They play about 80% man-to-man, but against North Carolina, they have found that the zone has been a little bit more effective.
Wallace short after a good deal of service from Donald Williams.
And he drifted away on his shot. They'd let him shoot that shot all day.
Ebers for Lawson in a hurry.
Oh, Wallace
That'll
up
be
on top.
goaltending.
Count it. Yes, count it. Count it.
13 for Jason Lawson.
Well, Rasheed getting a little frustrated, staring at the officials. He's got to play basketball. He can't be concerned with that. There's the entry inside. There comes the block from the rear. I mean, there's goaltending, no doubt about it.
Rasheed Wallace on the goaltending call. Still playing with 3 fouls, and he takes a seat at the 14:40 mark.
And he's a little frustrated because he's playing against Villanova. A bunch of guys, everybody in Philadelphia watching, and he wants to stand out. He wants to certainly play well. And tonight he hasn't had a Rasheed Wallace night.
Donald Williams from Calabria, who had a touch on the rebound, and then he was fouled by Alvin Williams from behind. But a hustle foul by the sophomore out of Germantown Academy in the Philadelphia area.
Dean Smith's really good about that. He signs a great player like Rasheed, and he makes sure that he gets a chance to go back. Next year, this game will be in Philadelphia. He'll bring Rasheed back home. The big question is, will Rasheed be in a North Carolina uniform? I personally think he needs another year, really, to complete his game. I hate to see kids come out so early, but the money is so astronomical, it's incredible.
Stackhouse. He'll make a lot of money someday, but he couldn't knock that one down. Jonathan Haynes straight ahead. Here comes Kittles.
Oh, nice
switch it. Ebers.
Nice pass. Kittles makes the great entry. We've seen him shoot the 3. We've seen him drive to the goal. And now we see him pass. The Cats stand up and cheer behind the Villanova bench. A lot of the mothers are here. This is Kittles is here. This is Haynes.
Calabria up for Zwicker.
Hey, Zwicker with the little baseline deuce.
Well, with Sullivan out, with that back surgery, Zwicker will become important. Ed Geth will become more important as they spell Stackhouse and Wallace up front.
See, now, right now, you got to recognize personnel and strength. And right now, Lawson's got to become a little bit more hungry and active against Zwicker.
Ebers again, good service from Jonathan Haynes.
Eric Ebers playing a solid second half here.
He has 8 of his 10 points out of the locker room. The pace is stepping up. Kittles had a chance to go coast to coast.
He anticipates really well. What a great kid, too. Super personality.
He's almost as popular as you are. He's got his own video now.
Is that right? He's got his own video. Wow.
They're pumping him for All-American. Gary was All Big East first team a year ago. He's never fouled out of a game, and he plays 36 minutes a game. Here's Landry's pass knocked away, and here comes Carey.
He's got great quickness as well. See, very unselfish, doesn't take bad shots.
He's got it back now.
That's a good shot right there, baby. Cannon, NBA. Hey, Lapis jumps with joy. There's jubilation out of Villanova.
That ties the game at the 12:50 mark as Nova battles back on the 3 by Kittles.
We talked about depth and size being a problem. If you can get Wallace out of the game, you got a great shot.
Zwicker the rebound.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. You can say what you want, but Serge Zwicker is holding his own, and he is contributing. You got to really salute him for the effort on the floor. A little limited in terms of quickness, certainly in his agility. He's worked hard to try to become a positive player off the bench.
Williams penetrates, kicks for Haynes, and they are red hot.
They're shooting the 3. That was the word. The scouting report said the Cats can flat out shoot the 3. Steve Lapis is going to be exhausted. He's driving me bananas watching him on that sideline. He's in it every play. His heart, soul, spirit.
Taken right out of the hands of Stackhouse.
And a leader, and a general, Jonathan Haynes.
Nova with its first lead of the night. 11:50 to go. Baseline left, and Lawson put it on the floor, and then he turned the ball over.
Look at the pain on Steve Lapis' face. Did a great job in Manhattan. Won 25 games. Fran Frischella, who's replaced him there, is doing a great job.
Showed you this one earlier. Wake Forest and Richmond. Richmond hanging tough. Time winding down. Wake is up 2. They're going to put a shot up as the buzzer would blow. And who's hitting it? Rusty LaRue. Wake wins it, improves to 4-1.
We're going to see the sideline break by watch the sideline break by Villanova. They bring the ball up the sideline. They're going to get it to Kittles, who's a great passer. Look at his eyes. He already spots Evers. Now he runs the ball up the sideline right here. Freeze it. Oh, yes. He's going to spot him right here, cutting to the goal, and he makes that entry. There's the dump down, Eric Evers. But it was really the play of Kittles running that sideline break. And you know what? He spotted him early. He anticipated. He just didn't react. He was one step ahead of the play.
Nova heating it up in the second half, 9 of 12. They've hit a couple of 3s in a row, and they lead for the first time tonight.
They change a little bit of that defense right now, going like a 1-3-1.
Rasheed Wallace, backdoor.
Yeah, tough with the zone with Rasheed. He's so quick to the opening, and in a zone situation, you can't get real good blockout assignments on someone as quick to the goal as Rasheed Wallace.
Seesaw back to the home team at the 11:20 mark. Kittle's becoming more active now every time down the floor.
They're playing Zwicker and Wallace together because Zwicker was so effective in that second half, that little spurt. They're playing the 2 big guys.
Williams, that's Haynes running off a pick. Nobody open, but out there is. Kittles can't knock it down, and McGinnis has the easy rebound.
That was a great look by Jonathan Haynes to get the ball over to Kittles. Do that skip pass.
Ball bumped away from behind, but a reach-around foul on Jonathan Haynes, his second.
Look at Jonathan with that look. He said, wait a minute. He said, hey, he told us today, I'm not really caught up with all this mystique. He said, I'm here to play basketball. I'm not in awe.
Jerry Stackhouse running onto the court there.
Steve Lapis stepped in, replaced Rolly Massimino, who went down to Vegas. We know about that situation. All I know is the bottom line is that Rolly Massimino and Lou Campanelli belong coaching somewhere in America. There's the diagonal trying to get the back screen.
Alvin Williams, the man who was almost undercutting Rasheed Wallace.
That was a can't-win situation going to UNLV to follow a legend like Jerry Tarkanian. And I just know all the principles that Rolly Massimino stands for, Lou Campanelli stands for, and the bottom line is both guys belong in a college environment as coaches.
Lapis not only taken over from Massimino, but on his staff back in the 80s when they won it all.
Then 1985 was his first year there as an assistant.
I asked Steve about all those low scores they used to win by back then. Whenever they beat people like Carolina, he goes, hey, baby, no 3s, no shot clock. It's a little different now.
Dean Smith, Bill Guthridge, what a great staff with Phil Ford. Produced Roy Williams and certainly Eddie Fogler.
Bill, on your left there, the longest tenure of any assistant coach in the nation. 28th year with Dean Smith.
Phil Ford is ready for a job somewhere in America as well. Personable, can teach, can coach, can communicate, excellent in practice.
And some trash talk out there between McGinnis and it looked like Jonathan Haynes.
Tim Higgins won't allow it. He won't allow it. We're going to watch a little bump right there. There's the bump by Haynes. Timmy Higgins right on top of the action. One of the premier zebras in the game.
Kittles will trigger it. Haynes to the arc. Carolina by 1. 10:20 remaining.
They got a mismatch with Stackhouse. Got to dump it into. Oh, they missed the big fella, but they don't need it. They shoot the three.
16 for Kerry Kittles. 8 already in the second half.
Kerry Kittles bombs away, baby. NBN, nothing but nylon. He's feeling it. He's got the rhythm.
Nova's biggest lead, 2.
He's in the zone.
McInnes, left corner.
And he answers right back. Jeff McInnes, you know, plays a little bit in the shadow of Stackhouse and Wallace, but he was part of that triumphant, that threesome that they brought in. 3 great sophomores.
Carolina back up by a point.
The thing I like about McInnes, he can shoot the ball as well as handle it.
Looked like Kittles didn't have to go reverse, but he did anyway. I thought he could have laid it right over the front of the iron. Here's Williams at the other end. Falling down and scoring.
What a big shot by Donald Williams. And that's how he played in '93 when they won the gold and they cut the nets down and they came back to Chapel Hill and they celebrated on Franklin Street when they beat the Wolverines of Michigan.
Carolina by 3.
You feel it here, don't you? You feel it.
The place is moving, I guess so. Lawson couldn't receive it. It was Stackhouse hustling to try to deny.
I think the crowd came here thinking they're going to have a nice, easy day today. Sit and be relaxed.
No.
A little Pavarotti at concert. But instead, they said, you know what? We better start the rock and roll. We better make this Mick Jagger night, baby. The Rolling Stones. Get a little rock and roll time.
First foul on Jerry Stackhouse. Dante Calabria is back with a season-high 13 and sitting down a good role player in Pierce Landry. 9:05 remaining. Aaron pass. McInnes all the way. And the foul from behind by Kittles. That'll be his 3rd.
Dean Smith certainly getting maximum rotating his people. I don't believe that this club is right now the best team in America. Certainly they're #1 based on the record and based on people getting beat. But I look at Arkansas and I look at the depth of Arkansas, and I would certainly give the edge to Arkansas in a head-to-head confrontation.
Yeah, that's a question of depth right there.
Oh, that's so deep. You know, that's just a tremendous advantage when you can go out and wear people down. And Arkansas had a real gut check, and they showed a lot of character after coming back after losing like they did to Massachusetts.
McInnes, 8 of 12 from the line coming in.
You know, you talk about the ACC, you could finish #1 or #5 and be a top 20 team in America. That's how tough the conference is going to be this year. It's going to be dynamite.
Well, we saw Wake win tonight, and they were 25th in the nation, the last of 6 ACC teams in the top 25. And is that another one on Stackhouse there? That'll be a 2nd on him very quickly.
Silly foul right there by Jerry Stackhouse. Duke's going to get better and better. You better beat Duke early, but it doesn't seem like people can. But they're getting better and better, and certainly their young people are starting to get a lot of experience, and I love Ricky Price. In fact, if you asked me to name the 5 freshmen who have been impact players, I'd say Lopez, certainly Iverson, LaFrentz from Kansas, Lorenzen Wright, and Ricky Price.
8:55 remaining. Carolina by 3. Nova hanging tough on the road.
North Carolina trying to rotate into a trap.
They said Wallace all the way out there to guard Kittles. Now he follows him to the corner. He's beaten by him. And Kerry reverses, got his own.
That's a great move. You can see his superb quickness, his baseline agility. He's got tremendous quickness. He just really blew right by Wallace on a baseline.
18 for Kerry Kittles. 10 of those in the second half.
North Carolina's going to challenge and be a national contender. A lot's going to really, I think, depend on the development of Swicker, who seems to be getting better and better, and Landry and Gett. Their starting 5 can play with anything.
Stackhouse and McInnes playing catch. Left wing Donald Williams. The soft touch.
Donald is back, my friends. Donald is back. Very unselfish, confident, certainly making the big play when they need it.
This has really turned into a great basketball game since halftime.
Oh, they missed Kittles. What a great move. They finally get it to him.
Stackhouse blocked him. The left-hander won't go down. Lawson finds it.
Lawson says, hey, if you're not going to get it down, Kittles, I'm taking that baby back home. Olney High School out of Philadelphia, where he hooked up and battled against Simon Gratz. Phil Ellaby's club was too tough. They were national champs, #1 in the nation.
Pretty good work by Nova there. They'd been out-rebounded by their 5 opponents coming into this game. Kept that one alive very well. Williams claims his hand was hit.
Yeah, Dean Smith saying deflection. Dean Smith doing a little coaching on the sideline.
Not going to happen. 7:25 to go. Smith and Carolina by 1.
We're going to take a look at Kerry Kittles playing without the basketball. That's a lost art in college basketball as well. Watch right now. He gives up the basketball, and right here, we're going to see him move without the basketball. Now he's going to come off the screen. There he is with that cut to the baseline. Now he's going to catch the ball on the baseline. Right here in triple threat. Freeze it! Triple threat position. Now look at Wallace. He's leaning off. He's going to blow right by him on the baseline because Wallace has lost his balance. Now he comes up short on a jumper, but he's back in offensive rebound position. Calabria and everybody's watching. Hey, get me some ink, baby. That's what these guys are screaming. They're not known nationally. Kittles, Bennett, Eric Williams, Keith Van Horn, Bobby Knight loves him. Hey, this kid, Haas, is going to start to get some ink and publicity. Those guys can play, yet the average fan doesn't know about it. People on the in know about these kids. I said to a guy at the airport today, I said, I'm going to see Villanova. They got a great player, Kerry Kittles. He said, Kerry who?
He probably knows by now. Williams with a good dump down to Lawson. Strong on the turnaround, too much so. And then Stackhouse up there battling the bigger fella. Knocked it over the baseline.
I'm really impressed. I don't know about you with Mr. Lawson. I really think Jason Lawson is going to be one heck of a player at Villanova. And especially when you surround him with a little help from Cornegay, that big body that's going to join them in the end of December.
Just a sophomore, 101 career blocks already.
Second in the league last year in block shots in the Big East. This guy gives him solid minutes off the bench. Alvin Williams. Look at that great entry.
Lawson walked all over the place.
Yeah, he walked.
He was hipping and skipping all over the place, and really all he had to do was turn and go to the glass. He had good seal-off position on Stackhouse.
Yeah, he was skipping and sliding. They got Wallace. They got right now Wallace playing on the offside, and they got Stackhouse playing him head-to-head.
Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Craig James standing by with a college football award show coming up next. We've got a lot of basketball to play, though, in the last 6:50 of this one.
As you see graphically right there, Villanova's shooting a lot better in the second half from three-point range, 3 for 5 versus 3 for 10 in the first half.
Donald Williams really finds a way to penetrate.
He split the top 2. You go odd even against the 2-man front. Donald Williams, experience, knows how to make the big play. Just splits the 2 and converts it.
Carolina by 3. Ebers from the left baseline. He was way too strong with it. Maybe a little surprised to find himself that near the hoop.
Oh, they had the lob to Wallace.
Ball almost went in as a bunch of players got a hand on it. Kittles angles it. Calabria breaks it up at midcourt.
Dante Calabria has that deflection, knocks it out of bounds, and that was a good deflection because they were going to get it right back to Kittles. He was going to give it to Haynes and then cut without the ball. A smart player, Kerry Kittles. Comes out of Louisiana, where they had Dwayne Spencer. Scotty Thurman was from there as well, from Louisiana.
Alvin Williams on the wing.
Trying to get a little 2-man game going.
Yeah, there's the other man. Kittle short with it. Got his own after Wallace lost it.
Oh, so quick. On the missed shot. Nobody lays him. Get some ink, baby. Get him some PR. He can flat out play. He's a Rolls Royce and Kerry Kittles. Mainline's going nuts now. There's mainline mania down there in Villanova.
1-point game, 5.5 to go. Donald Williams out on top. They're relieved every time Donald passes the ball. He's been so great penetrating tonight.
Well, he attacks that top 2. See, he wants to attack the top 2. There it is again.
And he's been finishing pretty well. 14 points tonight, and 10 of those have come in the second half.
Well, he recognizes the 2 guys on top. No one's matching up, and he's just splitting the top 2, going right into that open area for that little jumper.
That's really not fair for a 2-guard to handle the ball like that. Left side a little bit long for Ebers. Loose ball control.
Oh,
Jonathan
Haynes got hit in the eye. He got hit in the eye.
And McGinnis will be called for a foul. Looked like a 50-50 ball, but right there was Rick Hartzell to make the call.
Jonathan Haynes got hit in the eye. It looked like. You know, he had to lose a year's eligibility. He played 1 game, an exhibition game. Contact on the face when he went to Temple. I think sometimes the rules are amazing. Like you take right now, Pat Sullivan. He was redshirted last year. This year, the kid goes under back surgery. We wish him a speedy recovery. A beautiful young man.
Yep.
Came back and worked so hard. Probably will not play this year. I think an exception should be made, and he should get an extra year. I mean, here's a kid who was redshirted last year. Sometimes rules have to be adjusted to a situation. Remember, the bottom line, you're in the business on a collegiate level to help kids and not hurt kids.
And by the way, for you Carolina fans who may have missed the news at the top of our telecast, Pat Sullivan had what's been termed successful surgery. They removed 2 bulging discs from his back just today. He's resting. We hope he's doing well. Outstanding young man out of New Jersey. We hope to someday see him in Carolina blue again.
He's at Pagoda High School. Came out of Pagoda High School, Pagoda, New Jersey.
And he's got a young brother, Ryan, here.
Yeah, Ryan is here, redshirting.
Here we go. Carolina by 3 in the last 4:50.
Playing without Haynes. They're going to get him back on the floor quickly. He's their leader.
Evers for Williams. They're looking for Lawson, but Zwicker's fronting him, and Wallace is behind him.
I like the way Williams passes the basketball. He plays with a lot of confidence. Great friends, by the way, with Rasheed Wallace. They are super tight.
Shot clock at 8. Evers, left baseline. Now he's gone cold. Picked up. Kittles for 3. Too long with it. Picked up by Donald Williams.
Eric Evers having a tough time shooting the perimeter jump shot.
Donald flashing through again. That time it doesn't roll home for him.
So Evers does little things. He can't make the jumper fall. He comes up with a nice little rebound. See, right now the great players got to take over. You go to crunch time and winning time. All the big plays. Last night, Tony Delk and guys like, oh, they're holding him inside. Zwicker holding him down in the box.
Well, we told you he's fronting the big fella, and Wallace with 3 fouls is lurking behind. Now they both have 3. Timeout. Exactly 4 minutes to go. Carolina trying to hang on as they lead by 3.
It's been an amazing year already in college basketball. We've documented so many surprises. The balance is incredible. Here it is, #1 in America, North Carolina on their home floor, being really challenged by Villanova. They were challenged here in a real shootout with Texas, who has a great guard combination. Lencher and Anderson on Pembroke's club, 96-92 that game was.
Evers keeping it alive, and Lawson got it back. In the corner, Haynes.
Lack of size other than Wallace.
Now a chance to tie, and Evers knocks down his first 3 of the night.
And you want him to continue to shoot it. Dean Smith knows that he can shoot the area code jumper. He shot that from the main line, baby, down in Philadelphia.
61 all. Stackhouse had his shot deflected,
That's 3
but
shots.
his arm was hit.
That's 3 shots. 3-point range. He gets 3. Not a smart play because Jerry's not a long-range shooter. I'll tell you what impressed me about their victories thus far this year, talking North Carolina, the way they beat Cincinnati, because I'm really impressed when you look at Cincinnati's roster, their athletic ability, their toughness, and yet North Carolina really dominated them over there in Charlotte.
Donald Williams takes a seat. Here's Landry back in for the Tar Heels. They've got the lead back. Yeah, why foul Stackhouse out there? He doesn't shoot the 3, but he can really shoot free throws. Donald Williams getting a drink and a breather.
North Carolina may go into a little press, especially with Wallace at the back line of that press. I love Stackhouse's game. I just think he's so explosive. We talk about great combinations. Certainly they're a great combination, as is Thurman and Williamson. And is a tremendous one. Dale Brown's got a Randy Livingston and Ronnie Henderson.
The free throws put the Tar Heels up by 3.
One of the key reasons North Carolina's +3, Donald Williams' recognition and intelligent play as he recognizes the 2-man up on top and he goes odd even. Watch Donald right now split the freeze it right here. Now here's the 2 defensively, and he's going to split him and go right down this gap. And he's been doing that repeatedly here in the second half. There he is. He splits right on top. He takes Williams and he takes Haynes and he goes right up with a little jumper and he converts.
He'll stay on the bench for a while. There's our reset. Nova's used one of its timeouts, and they're in the bonus. Carolina about to, and the home team has the possession arrow. Bob Carpenter, Dick Vitale, 3.5 to go. Tar Heels by 3, but the Cats have never quit in this one tonight.
Look at this matchup out here. Wallace and Williams. Interesting matchup.
Kittles to tie it. And along with it, Wallace takes charge.
Got the shot they wanted. Kerry Kittles, a long-range shooter. There's that 2-3. Let's see if McGinnis attacks the top of it. A lot of teams like to go odd, even. If they got an even front, two men, you go odd and you attack and penetrate.
Calabria.
Big three. A big three. Dante with the answer. And the Carolina bench stands up in jubilation.
16 for him, a season high. Tar Heels by 6.
Get the linguini out for my guy Dante, baby.
Then he picks up the loose ball.
Watch out for Wallace. He can really run the court. He is so quick. Winning time. Right now, you got to lock it up defensively. You need a defensive stop if you're Villanova. Big possession. Carolina scores here. It becomes really, really tough for Villanova. They know Stackhouse going to go one-on-one against Ebers. Great
Off
call.
the glass beautifully.
Great call by Dean Smith. He puts him in a little isolation. Michelangelo responds. He draws the play. Stackhouse finishes it off. And Carolina is up.
ESPN's coverage of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by DirecTV, introducing personalized TV.
Carolina blue all over the place. A minute and a half ago, the game was tied. Tar Heels have gone to an 8-0 run to take control.
And they really played intelligently. Really played intelligent basketball, isolating. They saw a little mismatch, an Sear, a no contest in terms of quickness, Stackhouse, Ebers, and he took advantage in that situation.
Villanova, a couple of years ago, could not win close games. They were 0-8.
Nice cut without the ball. Get the good timeout. Eric Ebers. Get it down to 6, which means right now, Bob, we're looking at a 2-possession game, and they can shoot the 3.
Ebers with 15 points. And I asked Steve Lapis about the close ball games. 0-8 2 years ago in games of 5 points or less. Last year, dramatic turnaround. They won 9 out of 12. I said, Coach, how'd you do it? He said, hey, when I took over the first year, everybody on the team was a freshman in my system. Last year, they really figured things out and knew what to do in situations just like these.
Well, you start winning some games like they did at the end. You start developing that confidence. We said coming into this game after they were 6-9, they have won 18 of their last 22 games, and they're going to win a lot of games in the Big East. I'm very impressed with Villanova and the way they play and their personnel.
Coming up next on ESPN, Lee Corso, Chris Fowler, Craig James, all standing by to host the Home Depot College Football Awards Show. An array of awards for college football's best on an individual basis this season, and it's coming up next after we finish with the Heels and the Cats from Chapel Hill.
Eric Ebers right there, 34, screaming, give me the rock, give me the rock. Moves well without the ball, gets the quick timeout. Unfortunate for Ebers, an outstanding three-point shooter. Has had a tough time shooting the 3, but he's got 15 points, 5 rebounds. He has played a solid game. I'm impressed with him. He's more than just a shooter.
13 of those points in the second half. Earlier this year, he had 23 in the shootout in Alaska, 16 against Merritt. And against number 1 teams, Wildcats have had a couple of great moments. They beat Carolina at Carmichael in 83, 1-1 against Georgetown in 85, but the important one there is they won the second one, and that was for all the marbles.
Shot about 70-some%. Ed Pinckney had a big night. That was the win over Patrick Ewing and company, showing how difficult it is to repeat.
Villanova has now used all of its timeouts. McGinnis working through traffic. Williams to Stackhouse. Not exactly the 4 corners, but not that much different.
Well, they do a great job with this personnel spreading the court, and they got a bunch of guys that can beat you one-on-one, especially a McGinnis, especially a Williams and a Stackhouse.
Shot clock at 10.
And if you give any kind of help, they flip it up to Wallace, and there's the dunk. There it is. A little walk. Doug Scagliotta calls it on Dante Calabria.
And that's an important play there, Dick, because it's still just a 2-possession game and a lot of time left, a minute 29.
Well, especially the way, as we've been documenting all night, the way Villanova shoots threes coming into this game, shooting 40%. Last year, most of the year, they were right at one of the top 10 teams in America shooting the 3.
Alvin Williams around the perimeter, then penetrating, pumping. Out of control, really.
Yeah, not the kind of shot you wanted right there. North Carolina also late in the game with the lead possesses excellent ball handling skills by playing the 3 guards.
Don't think that's the shot you're looking for when you're down by 6.
They're spreading the court. No one ran the 4 corners, though, better than Phil Ford. He was incredible when he was at that point as they get the timeout.
No, it's a foul. It looked like Dean Smith wanted to stop things just as they did a foul out there at midcourt.
Oh, they got the foul before the timeout. Looks like Dean's going to get another chance to get another W in the book. They keep piling up. Loves to teach, loves to be in the arena. Very similar to Bobby Knight in that respect. They like being in the gym. And by the way, Indiana is going to get better and better. Their 2 freshmen are very good, Neil Reed and Andre Patterson.
Donald Williams after the foul by Alvin Williams of Villanova. That's 15 for Donald tonight.
Well, he made some big plays. We showed there with the telestrator. He made some big plays when Villanova made the run. Donald Williams always had the answer. And he did that against the Fab 5 in Michigan in '93.
Now they'll shuttle things. McInnes will check out. Pierce Landry, good, solid defensively. Will get back in there, but they'll be shuttling back and forth. 51 seconds.
Ebers right now. I would go to Ebers for the 3.
Down to Lawson.
I bring it inside out.
Haynes for 3. Air ball. Ebers, great work to grab it, and he draws the foul.
Which stops the clock as well. Puts him on a free throw line. Allows him to convert 2. Allows him to get it into a 2 possession situation.
McInnes back. Pierce Landry headed back to the bench, and a chance now for Villanova to do something with the clock not moving. It's sitting at 42.5, and the Cats are down by 8.
I think it's great that we have these kind of matchups right now in December. 3 reasons for it. TV, obviously, number 1. Number 2, coaches not afraid to get a loss in December. They know that hurts the free throw. A loss in December is not going to hurt them drastically. And number 3, coaches a little bit more secure now in their contracts, getting a little bit more in terms of multi-year deals. And I just think it's great for college basketball. The matchups are incredible. This week, Maryland and Massachusetts, Michigan and Duke.
Well, this is our version of the old ACC Big East Challenge right here. Ebers hits it, and it's a 7-point game with 42.5 left. They'll take a seat. They'll get some defense in there. Donald Williams tripled in the backcourt. No problem.
There's the reversal. Spread the court. Get excellent spacing.
And McInnes, victim of a reach around by Alvin Williams. That'll be 4 on Alvin. 34.8 seconds remaining.
Dean Smith also has more victories in the NCAA than anyone. 56 W's. John Wooden second at 47. Bob Knight with 40. Mike Krzyzewski at 39. Winning percentage, you look at his percentage, is incredible. 77% of his games. Jerry Tarkanian ranks number 1. Dean Smith number 5.
But what about that ACC stat? 30 straight years in the top 3 of the league in that league.
And you're talking about that league, one of the real premier leagues in basketball in terms of environment, in terms of coaching, facilities, everything about the league. Media coverage. Basketball is uno number 1.
Williams around the perimeter. They've got to have a 3 in a hurry. Haynes won't rattle home for him. That should just about do it as Wallace picked up the flat-footed rebound, and then Kerry Kittles has to hack in the backcourt.
And there's the foul in the backcourt.
19.3 to go, and the Tar Heels by 9.
Here's Steve Leppis. He's still coaching his heart out on his sideline. Reminds me a lot of it. Young version of Rick Pitino working that sideline. I'm not saying Pitino's old, but I'm talking in terms of experience in coaching.
Quick recovery there, partner. And at the other end, here's Donald Williams, who has really controlled things for the Tar Heels second half.
He's made the big plays.
Ebers kept it in. Alvin Williams straight ahead. Kittles, look out here.
Hello, little Jam City. He's so quick. He's going to be an outstanding player at the next level because of his tremendous quickness, his size to play on the perimeter.
What happened here?
Could be too many timeouts.
Did somebody call a timeout?
I think Kittle's saying, no, I didn't call a timeout. Kittle's trying to say to the official, I didn't call a timeout.
They've been out of timeouts. They have been out of timeout since the minute 59 mark.
Well, he gave the sign he wanted a timeout, then he realized it. And the question is it too late?
I think Frank Scagliotta, evidently Frank Scagliotta, the official, got hurt.
Watch right now. See, he's running now. He's asking, do I call it? No, he says, I don't want it. I don't want the timeout. I don't want it. I don't want it. Look, I'm saying I don't want it. Please don't give it to me. I said, fine, we won't give it to you. There's the double up. Foul.
11.2 to go. I think we got an injured official over on the left baseline. Frank Scagliotta has changed his position on the floor and limping around a little bit.
He's a football coach. He's tough. He's from out of Pennsylvania. Hard-nosed, won his league championship, Pius 10 high school. Frank Scagliotta. He's got that little mentality. Football coach. Guy puts the zebra shirt on. They're tough, hard-nosed guys. A lot of people don't realize these guys all work during the day. They have jobs, come out here, travel America, because they love the game. Look at the free throw line right here in the second half. Wow, Carolina 9 for 12, 1 for 3 for Villanova.
Carolina hasn't shot free throws well, though, early in the season. Only 62%, but in some of the games they've had, they played so well. The last thing they needed to win was free throws. How about that first half they had against South Carolina last Friday night?
Wow, Eddie Fogler and company certainly don't have the personnel, but they're getting a great recruiting class coming in. And I'll tell you one thing. Look at South Carolina in about 2 or 3 years, and you will see a major difference.
18 for Donald Williams. All but 4 since halftime. He'll check out. Pierce Landry is back. Kittles knows it's a tall order now. Down by 9 in the final 12 seconds. Roscoe Harris missing. Kittles has it taken away by Stackhouse, and the Tar Heels will win it 75-66. It was a 5-point game at the half. Carolina took control. All the old Philly guys are now renewing their acquaintances, and Carolina had the big run early, the big run late, but Villanova played awfully well in between.
I think that's great to see the love between all those kids. They all grew up together basically in Philadelphia. Wallace and Lawson and Haynes and company. The only difference is Villanova wishes Wallace was in their uniform.
By 9, the Tar Heels win it. For Dick Vitale, Bob Carpenter, and the #1 team in the nation, Carl, continues to get it done here at home tonight.
And Bob, I think we learned just how